Thumb 1, thumb 2. Can you see the difference in how big this one is? That's after a week and a half of swelling going down. So then I realized it's not swelling, that's just my bone sticking out. So we're on the way to the emergency room. All right, well, since I'm hurt, I figured we would take this week to lay out some of the best practices to try to get back to training as fast as possible. Whether you are a pro or just an average Joe like me trying to get back to jiu-jitsu, let's talk about some of the best practices to facilitate that goal. It's too nice not to be outside today. So let's get the obvious stuff out of the way first. Clearly you want to go see a doctor right away. You don't want to wait a week and a half to make sure that the bone is sticking out of your hand. Just go. Also, you want to receive the max amount of treatment available. So if you can get a doctor's clearance to resume training in 14 days, but they offer up to 30 days of physical therapy, take all 30. There's zero benefit you're going to lose by not doing all 30. And let's think about it. If you can get medical professionals evaluating your injury and your therapy for a longer period of time, why would you not take it? And obviously this isn't a huge concern of mine a lot of the time. So I decided, for the benefit of the viewers watching at home, why don't we ask a couple professionals? So I decided to text a couple of my guys while I'm sitting here, ask them what they think was the biggest factor in recovering from injury and getting back in the gym as quickly as possible.
Stay hard.
All right, so let's go ahead and assume that what Spike meant is that you got to keep training, right? You got to stay focused, you got to stay driven. Very simply, you can always modify and adapt your training to get around your injury. And even if that means only training at 50 to 70% capacity, that's better than 0% capacity, right? If you've hurt your ankle or your knee, you may have to do some work in the pool. You may have to focus on your mitts. If you've hurt your hand, you may have to do some cycling, etc. But no matter what, keep moving, keep active, because nothing is worse than coming back to training and having to start from zero as far as your conditioning. Let's see what else we got.
When you're injured or hurt, recommend staying on your diet and eating healthy, because if you eat grease, not good for you. Eat good nutrients, good vitamins, and you'll be good.
Was he just drinking a White Claw? Apparently asking fighters was a horrible idea, but what he just said is actually kind of brilliant. If you think about it, the only two ways your body has to heal itself is by the nutrition and food that you put in it and how much you get to sleep. So staying on point with your diet is not only a good sense of self-discipline in order to keep yourself physically fit, but also is the best way you can provide your body to heal itself. Good thinking, Frog. Stay on point. And real quick, the last 2 points I would make is that when you do go back to training, that you start off very slow. So even when you get 100% approval from your doctor to resume training, I would reserve 2 or 3 weeks to kind of acclimate your body back into it. If you haven't moved a ligament or a joint in a while, it's automatically going to take some time before you can go back to training full clip. Your body's just not going to be adapted to doing what you were doing. And usually, at least in my case, as soon as I get my blood warmed up and I start feeling the mat again, I want to go full clip. And my brain is telling me you can go full clip, but you can't. And the final point is, you may need to get mental help. I know that sounds a little wishy-washy kind of nonsense. It took me a while to believe it too, but think of how many fighters you've seen take a catastrophic injury and they never look the same afterwards. We always chalk that up as they're just physically not able to do it. But in reality, it may be a mental block. If subconsciously you're not able to pull the trigger like you once were, you're never going to be able to perform at the level you once did. So there's nothing wrong with admitting that you may have a subconscious or even conscious fear of pulling the trigger in a way that you once used to. Your body's experienced trauma. There's no getting around it. And for you to be at your absolute best, you have to get over it, not only just in a physical capacity, but in a mental as well. So that's all for this week. We'll get right back at it. Thanks for being here on Fight Guide.